Hello, Daz Studio enthusiasts. I want to welcome you to my tutorial series. Now, today I wanted to talk a little bit about dForce, posing, and simulating hair, because this can be quite a challenge, and hair has always been one of the hardest things for me to pose, even if I have dForce hair. The idea for this tutorial started when I was making a scene involving a character that was laying down, and I needed to pose her hair so that it looks natural and is hanging down below her. And I've always struggled with this, and I think a lot of people do. And so I thought I would give you a few tips on how to make this look more realistic. I've got Milika here, and we're going to put her on the bed in this pose where she's laying on her back on her bed. So I'm going to put her in this pose, and then let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got her in the pose. I'm going to zoom in, and this is kind of a nice pose, and I've actually used Mesh Grabber a little bit to push down on the bed, give it some dimensions, but of course, her hair is in this completely unrealistic pose, and we need to fix this to make this render look anywhere near real. Now, this hair is the casual hair from TM Design, and this is a really good product, actually. It's dForce enabled. It has lots of choices in color. No set poses though with it. However, it does have, when you click on it, a lot of dials, and the dials are going to help. So if we move some of these dials, we can get the hair to look better. For example, the front left here, I can kind of move down and get it into a position that looks like it's like her hair is kind of falling. And so you can play with this. See, we can kind of move this like that. And so the dials are pretty handy. I'm going to get rid of any movement from the dials, and we're going to run a simulation just so I can show you what's going to happen. And the goal here is not to use a lot of these dials, but to create a simulation where her hair looks more real than it is here. One of the things that I hate about renders is the lack of detail with hair. And I know it's really hard to mess with hair and to pose hair, but it kind of makes or breaks your render. And so any little tricks that we can do to get the hair looking better is going to improve all your renders. So let's just run a simulation first just to see what is going to happen with the hair. And it's also going to simulate her nightie here because it is dForce. I'm going to do this with the bones off so that she doesn't move, just her nightgown and her hair moves. And it's important to understand, if you are new to Daz Studio, that when you simulate, you are going to move anything in the scene that's dForce unless you freeze it. And so when I hit simulate, it's going to simulate her nightgown and her hair at the same time, and we'll watch this. So let's just hit a simulate. It's going to compile the data, and then it's going to simulate, and you can watch her gown move as well as her hair. So let's watch what her hair does. All right, so after the simulation, it already looks better, but if we look at her hair, you'll notice that the position of her hand and everything, there's hair over her hand. There's hair that's kind of stuck on her shoulder. It's actually stuck on her nightgown. And then we have some hair that did a good job and kind of fell down. This hair, her bangs, unfortunately, won't move. And that's a little unrealistic, but we're just going to have to deal with her bangs not moving. And once we simulate, we can move some things. Like I could drop this down even more and use these dials to make it look better. And I agree that that looks a lot better maybe that way. But let me show you a trick here if you are just having trouble getting your hair to simulate and to move with dForce the way that you want it. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up hiding things. And so I now have posed her nightgown. So if I select her nightgown, I'm going to go to the simulation tab under the parameters with the nightgown selected, and I'm going to freeze the nightgown because the nightgown is posed and I don't need to try and repose it again. In fact, I'm going to hide it. And I'm going to hide it because her hair keeps getting caught on the nightgown and her shoulder here. So I'm going to hide the nightgown. I'm also going to hide parts of her body. So her hand, for example, where the hair is getting caught, I'm going to hide all this stuff. So the first thing to do is just to hide her hand and arm. And then to make YouTube happy, I'm going to hide her pecs. And I'm also going to hide her neck and chest. In fact, let's hide this collar as well. And then because the nightie is an issue, we're going to hide it too. Now it should stay in the position that it's in, even hidden, because I have it frozen. Now I can simulate again and we'll see that hair hopefully kind of fall a little bit more realistically. Okay, so I think that is better. You notice that the hair is no longer stuck to her shoulder, and that nightie, it did fall down onto the bed like it's supposed to. We can also select the hair and go to some of our tabs, and we can mess with the tabs and see if we can get it to look a little bit better here on the left side. So I can even make some adjustments and change things to enhance the simulation and the movement from dForce. Okay, now once I'm kind of happy with that, we're just going to make all of our items visible again. So let's make her nightie visible first, and then let's make this arm visible. And then we'll kind of come in here, we'll make her chest visible, and we should have a better render. And if you notice, her nightie stayed simulated because I have frozen it. And now we have a more realistic render. And so I just wanted to show you this because I had actually been troubleshooting this a little bit and playing with it for a scene that I was doing. And so I created this scene with Milica to show everyone my technique here. So if you have a better way of doing this, or if you have a more efficient way, let me know. I always learn so much from all of your comments, so don't forget to give me a comment. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and give me your opinion. All right, until next time, have a great night and happy rendering.